What is biospirit?
Well, essentially, it's one of the terms that we use to describe the primary or fundamental difference between the races and among the races of man. So, a biospirit is we're recognizing with the term that it's biological, the differences, and spiritual. So that spiritual can be, obviously of the religious nature, and whether you believe in a heaven, for example, or Christian heaven or not, there is something still that about humanity that is different from the animal kingdom. So if it's not a spirit that we have, there's some spiritual nature that we can't yet measure with scientific tools yet. So it kind of speaks to both mindsets of the purely biological, but also the spiritual nature and ergo the religious nature. But it's really can be understood quite simply by referring to it as instinct. Every animal on planet Earth has instincts. The more complex the animal, the more intelligent the animal, the more it transmits or projects its instincts onto its environment. We see there are birds, for example, who will collect, very intelligent birds who will collect different colors of objects to put around its nest to attract a mate. The more complex or intelligent the animal, the greater the complexity of that projection of instinct. And in aggregate, we refer to that projection onto our environments as culture. So wherever white people go, we project our instinct onto our environment. This is the primary thing that we can really see that are the differences among the races. We project our interior, our instinct onto our environment. We refer to that we see that as culture, and we refer to that for us as Western culture. Wherever we go, we make Western culture. Wherever Asian people go, they make Asian culture. We say one isn't better than the other. Well, but one of the ways, there's no cosmic measurement for it. It just is the difference. And when we look to how we know and that it's something that we are experiencing or creating from within, is that we can feel a harmony with it when we see it reflected back at us from our environment. So even though we can go to, say, China and marvel at the architecture and be impressed by their literature, we can't identify with it. We can't, if you're honest with yourself, you don't feel that harmony with it. If you go to, though, you might be Christian, and you can go and look at the old pagan temples. You could go to Greece, you can go to Italy, you can see these old, and you still feel that inexplicable awe and that union, that something within us is harmonizing with the beauty of the structure. And similarly, the last thing I'll say is when you live in the West and a part of town becomes predominantly non-white of one variety, and they begin projecting their instinct, their biospirit onto their environment, changing things. When you reach that part of town, you don't feel, and many of us today, now that we have architects that are no longer building in the tradition of what's, if they're white, natural for them, we get sort of like these cookie cutter things that make it easy as possible, it's so cheap as possible for construction. We don't harmonize with that either. Nobody does. Because that's just meant for capitalists to make a bunch of money off of folks.
Well, great. I appreciate you explaining that, and I can definitely relate to a lot of what you said there.